Guys, welcome to this video. I want to show you how I came up with this. I want to show you a couple things actually. So this is Abraham's test project, and I've kind of built off of it. So we want to have a working one that we can use, but that's not about this video. So we want to be able to take, I want to show you guys what I'm doing here. So we want to take the main storyboard that he has here, and don't mind the yellows, that's not what we're using, it's just a test. So in order to do the navigation, if you come in here and do the navigation controller, you can choose a color that you want for your navigation bar, but unfortunately the way it's set up here, you can only choose one color. So that's a conflict. So that's one challenge. The second thing is the way it's set up within, as you see here, you could choose a custom color like that, or you could choose something specific. But what makes it interesting is in order to make this work, you need to have your own view controller for each scene, each screen, and then you need to program your code to work. So what I did is created a new view controller for the linens page. So what I did here is you right click and create a new file. So let's say for example let's see, which one do we want to use? Let's say alerts, for example. We want to have our own alerts page. This is how we would create a view controller for it. Now we know how to create the screen for it, but we need to tie that screen to a set of code. We would, let me go back here for a second. So we start off with this view controller, this one right here is tied directly to the main page, okay? So it's tied to this page right here. Now, let's say alerts, we want to have our own view controller. So what we would do here is we right click here, we would do new file, we choose Cocoa Touch class, hit next. It's already called view controller, and then what I would call it is alerts, just like that. Make sure you have all this selected and hit next, and just hit create. That's it. So now you see we have an alerts, we have an events, we also need an FAQ one. So we would go in here and do new file, Cocoa class, touch, whatever, view controller, and we would do FAQ. Boom, everything's selected, done, and hit create. Perfect. So now we have all these different ones. Now, the other thing is, if you go to the main storyboard, and let me scroll over to the linens page right here. So if you click on the linens right here, oops. So one thing is you could change the title up here like that. The other thing is, if you click on this, and I'm trying to remember which one it is. Which one? Right there. So you click on this guy right here, you go over to class, and you choose what Swift file matches up with that. Okay, and that's how we got view lens. So for example, let's do one like alerts that we have here. So I'll click alerts, I'll choose the class, and what I'm doing is I'm choosing what Swift file matches up to that code. So we have to know it's view controller, so we can type in view controller, and there you go, there's alerts. So what that does is it ties that code to that page. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's one thing I wanted to point out to you guys, how to tie a view controller to the actual screen, and that'll be where the code resides at. Okay, so let's go over to our view controller lens. So we've kind of walked through some of this before, but what's different here is I added this feature right here. This is not needed. I added this feature, so what we need to do is we need to, each bar, we need to code this code right here, so it allows us to define the different colors that represents each screen. Okay, so like red is alerts, yellow is FAQ, and events is blue and linens is kind of like an off green or whatever the case is, we need to do that. So that's a challenge. So that was a challenge to me because what they don't allow you to do is they don't allow you to choose HTML color, so you have to write some code. So what I did is I wrote this code right here called extension Swift, and you can kind of see right here because bar tint color I have equals family house green. So I wrote a function that allows me to, because this all it's doing right here is calling a function, and this function allows me to choose that. So let me show you the function I wrote. So I went under extensions, and I wrote this little function right here called color from hex. So the principle of this is we want to choose the hex. Now this will work fine. This will deprecate in iOS 13, so we'll have to change that code. So we'll have to use a different number at that time. But for the most part, right, for the most updated information here is we can use this function, color from hex. What it does is it has a variable here, hex string, and it takes it's just a way to take what's out there and kind of trim it up so that we can utilize it. I know it's doing here is saying, hey, if it's like parsing through the file, it's saying if it has a prefix pound, which it does because that's the HTML color that we want to use, it starts to index so that it knows where to start at. And then we have a little how it returns black if it doesn't equal a certain value. And then we have the RGB down here, which is a universal int equals 0. And this part right here will have to change eventually. And then what we want to do is return either red, green, blue, alpha. So it's one of those colors. This right here is a function that allows us to define the HTML colors. And then what I did up here is I created a static let. And this static is something that's not going to change. I gave it different color, different names, red, yellow, blue, whatever, equals UI color. And then I plugged in the HTML colors that Emily provided to me, and I plugged those guys in right there. So that is the function that I call, and then I could come over here, which like, where's that? I did linens, for example. So I have linens right here, and this linens here has family house green. So let me copy this code right here. Okay. So now if I run this, which I do have it running now, or I don't have it running, but I'll show you what I had. Oh, come on. All right, I don't like this. All right, I'm trying to move this. All right, it's giving me problems. Bear with me for a second, guys. All right, it took me forever to get this over here. So we have this guy over here. I can even move him now. So if I choose linens, it has the right color at the top. Now if I choose alerts, it has that same color up there. So this is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over, stop this for a second. I'm gonna choose my events right here, and I'm just gonna copy in that code. Oh, that was events, I want alerts, sorry. Alerts. So let's copy in this code right here and change it a little bit. And let's do, you'll see here, we could just type in family house red. There we go. And let's grab that right there. Now we need to, I don't know if we aligned it up to our controller or not. So let's see here. Let's go back out to, I think we did. I don't remember. So let's got the storyboard. And let's find our alerts. Okay, alerts is right there. Even though it shows it's green, yellow, whatever. Okay, we do have it there. Hypothetically, this should work. Let's see if it works. Look at that, it works. So don't mind if you see it looking yellow there, because it's not a big deal. It does work. So we have our alert, we have our linens, right colors. We could do our FAQ while we're at it. So let's go to FAQ. let's do events. Let's do them all real quick. So we do events, ViewController, events. There you go. And then here's our FAQ, and it is, where's that, right here. And so we'll do ViewController, FAQ, perfect. All right, so that should do that. So now we have to write our code. And just like that, oops. All right, so it's yellow, perfect. So we got that, we got alerts, we got events. So events will be like this. And it's family house events. What is their color? Blue, I think. Alright, so we have all three of those guys. Alright, so we should be rocking and rolling here. Let's run it real quick and see if it works. Okay, we know that this is fine. Now this screen's jacked up. We have to redo it, so I haven't started. I'm not too worried about it. Alerts. There we go, look at that. FAQ, I like it, looks beautiful. Events, look at that, guys. So we have working sessions. Now I do have video, I do have some code that I had working here. I took it out, so I have to fix this up. But the next thing I'm gonna do is add the guy up here, the call button, and then I'll check in that code and you can use it. And Emily can fix it up if we need to. Now, what I don't have is I'm just using the regular font. If we have a specific font that we're supposed to use, we'll see if we can make that work as well. But for the most part, we got this part completed. I know that Ibrahim's working on the main page, so we'll get this realigned and then get something up here. We should be rocking and rolling pretty sweet. And all right, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, please reach out. Bye for now, guys. Guess I should stop the video, right?